Hello. The purpose of this Anytime Anywhere workshop is to show faculty how course statistics work. This example will describe how to view course statistics that will show activity within an entire course. This can be done at any time, but gives you an entire set of data for your entire course when downloaded and viewed at the end of a semester. So let's begin by going to the control panel of the course and look for on the control panel in the assessment area where it says course statistics. Now if you're doing an organization, it'll work the exact same way. Okay, so we're going to click on course statistics, and there's a drop down that will allow you to choose an overall summary which contains the most data all in one, or you can look at just content areas, or you can look at just groups if you've done groups within your students within your course, or if you want to look at just the discussion forums. But in this instance, we're going to take a look at overall the kind of summary that Blackboard will give you. Now you can choose dates, but if you do this at the end of the semester, you'll have information from the entire course without checking anything. Now for users, you can look at all users, which means all the data for every student in the course, or you can be very specific and select one or two or three, and you can do that by holding down the control key on a PC computer or the Apple key on the Mac computer, and you can select various individuals to take a look at instead of just the entire course, or you can be as specific as one individual. In your particular list, you'll have 20 or 30 students here. I've only got 2 in this particular example, but you will have lots of students and be able to scroll up and down and look at the list of them here. So once we've told it what kind of report, don't worry about the time frame, don't check anything unless you're looking for a specific week or a specific day. You can do that. And for this purpose, we're going to take a look at what the report will give you for all users. Okay? When we're complete, we're ready to click this Submit button down at the bottom. The Submit pretty much says make it so. Alright, now it may take a lot longer for your statistics to be generated than mine because you have lots more students, I would imagine, than I do. So this overall graph shows you where the most hits were in your course. It will probably be your announcements in your content area as well as the grades. It's up to you. Your work in the course is included in the statistics, and a hit means every time something is clicked on a page. So it will break it all down for you here, but there's a lot more information, so let's take a look. Now this will list in vertical form, so it's kind of hard to read. For example, this says glossary here. It'll list all of the tools you have in your course and each of your students and show how many hits or how many times the students accessed that particular item, which is rather interesting. You can see how your items are being used, and it will give you a total at the very end with how many hits total each of these tools has received. Okay, now we get into the actual meat of it, and this gives you a picture of your entire course from the very beginning to the very end and how many hits occurred on specific days. So this shows you an overall trend as to how often your Blackboard course was accessed by your students. And you can see that I've used this particular course here a lot. 80 clicks it shows here in the last couple of days as I was making these. Now further down, it will also show you every specific date from the beginning to the end of your course. This is the 23rd of June, the 24th of June, the 25th of June, and on and on and on it will go to show the dates your course was in session, every single student, and how many times each of your students clicked on your course during a specific day. This is rather powerful information because this will show you if there's a student that's never accessed any of your information, and they are the ones that are probably complaining the loudest about their ease. So this gives you information about how often students are actually using the course information, and that can be rather useful to instructors. Then we have the access of hours of day. Now this can be useful for online instructors because it shows what time of day your students are accessing the course the most. Now, if your students are all working from 2 to 3 a.m., then maybe that's the time you should be chatting with them, because that's when they're all on the computer. So it gives you a lot of information as to when your students are working on your course, and that can be really useful. And Blackboard gets specific as to what day of the week do your students use your Blackboard course the most. And you can see that I work a lot on the weekends because I have no life. But your students will probably be checking during the week, and you will have peaks here on this graph based on how often your students are using it. So it's rather useful to see what days of the week your students are working the most on your course. So course statistics can be very, very useful. But if you click OK down here, you don't get to keep a copy of it. So let's scroll back up to the top, because at the very top there's a couple of buttons that will help you out. There's the export data. Now what this will do is allow you to save this information to an Excel file, and then with Excel you can manipulate the information and print it out and create what kind of graphs you would like to create using the data. Or you can simply print it out because there's a print button right up here. And the change filter button is the same thing as that little drop down menu here, because you can change what it's looking at. You can change the summary of the report, you can change what days it filters, and you can change what students it filters. So this is how you can view the entire set of course statistics showing all the activity that went on in your Blackboard course during a specific semester. And this again can be found on the control panel in a command that says course statistics.